You ever notice something strange about Japan? A country with one of the highest millionaire ratios on earth, yet you never see it. No flexing, no status chasing, no loud spending. Just quiet, consistent wealth that seems to happen almost invisibly. Meanwhile, in the West, we work harder, earn more, spend more, and somehow still feel behind. It's not because we're doing everything wrong. It's because there's a hidden system the Japanese follow that most of us never learned. Here's the surprising part. None of these habits require luck, high income, or extreme discipline. They're simple, daily practices that shape how money moves through your life. My name is Alex, and today I'm breaking down the 10 Japanese habits ranked from helpful to truly life-changing that quietly build wealth across generations. By the end, you'll see money the way the Japanese do, calm, deliberate, and completely in your control. Habit number 10, Kakeibo, seeing where your money actually goes. If you've ever looked at your bank balance and thought, wait, where did everything go? Kakeibo is the habit that brings the truth into the light. And here's the key, it doesn't start with cutting back or setting rules, it starts with awareness. The Japanese have used this handwritten money journal since 1904 because writing forces you to face your spending in a way apps never do. When everything is automatic, you lose visibility. When you write it down, you regain control. Kakeibo works because it slows you down. Each purchase gets logged into 4 simple categories: what you need to survive, what's optional, what enriches your life, and what probably shouldn't have been purchased at all. The moment you categorize something, you start seeing patterns you didn't know existed. Most viewers discover that 15 to 20% of their spending wasn't intentional. It was just autopilot. And when you see autopilot spending clearly, it loses its power. Think of Kakeibo like turning on a light in a dark room. Nothing changed except your visibility, but suddenly everything makes sense. The goal isn't guilt, it's clarity. Once you see your financial behavior without emotion or excuses, small adjustments happen naturally. You don't force discipline. You simply understand yourself better. A simple notebook is all you need, not an app, not a template, just paper. For 30 days, write down every dollar you spend. Coffee, groceries, late night Amazon hits, everything. At the end of each week, review the entries. You'll notice trends long before you try to change them. And once you understand your patterns, improvement becomes automatic. One story stands out. Someone I know started Kakeibo after years of living paycheck to paycheck. She didn't budget, she didn't restrict, she just wrote things down. 6 months later, she had saved $4,000 without feeling any sacrifice. Same income, same life, just greater awareness. You can't fix what you can't see. Kakeibo helps you see everything, and once you do, the quiet wealth journey truly begins. Habit number 9, Mottainai. Stop letting wealth leak through waste. Mottainai is one of those concepts that instantly changes how you see your money. The word doesn't translate perfectly into English, but the closest meaning is, what a waste. Not in a judgmental way, more in a way that makes you pause, appreciate what you have, and treat your resources with respect. And when you apply this mindset to your daily life, you start noticing how much wealth quietly slips through your fingers without you realizing it. Here's the uncomfortable truth, waste is expensive. Americans throw away 30 to 40% of the food they buy. That's not just groceries going in the trash, that's hours of your life spent working for food you never ate. The same thing happens with clothing worn once, tools bought and forgotten, gadgets replaced instead of repaired. None of this feels dramatic at the moment, but added up over a year, it becomes one of the largest hidden costs in your financial life. Mottainai flips that script. It teaches you to use what you already have fully before buying more, to repair something before replacing it, to ask yourself, will I use this completely? Before hitting the checkout. It's not about being cheap, it's about recognizing that everything you own came from your effort, your time, and your energy. Respecting your resources is really respecting yourself. A friend of mine did a Mottainai audit one weekend, nothing complicated, just looking around his home with a fresh lens. In the garage alone, he found $2,000 worth of tools he forgot he owned. In the closet, $3,000 in clothes with tags still attached. Kitchen gadgets untouched. Total waste, over $8,000. Not because he was irresponsible, but because he was on autopilot. Buying, forgetting, replacing, repeating. Once he embraced the habit, he started using what he had before buying more. He added a simple rule. Wait 30 days before any purchase he wasn't sure about. A year later, he saved $6,000, not by earning more, but by wasting less. Mottainai isn't just a habit. It's a mindset shift. Every time you prevent waste, you protect your future wealth. Quiet financial growth starts with keeping more of what you already have. Habit number 8. Hara, Hachi, the 80% rule that builds wealth quietly. Hara, Hachi, is one of the simplest habits on this list, but don't let that fool you. It quietly reshapes your health, your spending, and even your relationship with satisfaction. The idea is straightforward. Stop eating when you're about 80% full. Not hungry, not stuffed, just comfortably satisfied. And while it comes from Okinawa, where some of the world's longest living people practice it daily, the financial impact is just as powerful as the health impact. Here's why it matters. Most of us consume until the signal arrives that we're done, which usually means we've already gone past what our body needed. Bigger portions, bigger plates, bigger prices. But when you embrace the 80% rule, you automatically spend less on food without feeling restricted. Studies show it can cut food costs by roughly 20% just from learning to pause before the point of excess. But Hara Hachibu goes beyond meals. It becomes a mindset. What if you applied the 80% rule to everything you buy? Most purchases aren't about need, they're about satisfying that last 20% of desire. The ironic part is that the final 20% costs the most and delivers the least. Living at 80% satisfaction protects your money while still giving you almost everything you want. A man I know tried this habit after feeling overwhelmed by rising expenses. He didn't diet, he didn't budget, he simply stopped eating until he was uncomfortably full. That shift alone saved him $300 a month in dining costs. Over a year, that was $3,600. And the ripple effect didn't stop there. He lost 30 pounds, felt better, and even earned a promotion thanks to improved energy and focus. Hara Hachi teaches a simple truth. Enough comes earlier than you think. You don't need 100% fullness, 100% satisfaction, or 100% of your wants met. The sweet spot is at 80%, where you're content, healthy, and financially ahead. When you stop chasing the last bit of excess, your money finally has room to grow. Habit number 7, Wabi-Sabi. Finding beauty in imperfection. Wabi-Sabi is one of the most liberating financial habits you can adopt, even though it has nothing to do with money at first glance. It's a Japanese philosophy that celebrates the beauty of things that are simple, imperfect, or aging. And in a world where every ad pushes perfection, upgrades, and constant improvement, Wabi-Sabi is the antidote that keeps your wallet intact and your mind grounded. Here's the problem most people don't see. We don't overspend because our things are broken. We overspend because we think our things aren't good enough. Social media shows flawless kitchens, perfect cars, designer wardrobes, and curated lives that look effortless. And without realizing it, you start chasing the same image, upgrading your furniture, remodeling a room that already works, replacing a phone that still functions, or buying clothes that fit an aesthetic instead of a need. It's not the item you want. It's the feeling of keeping up. Wabi-Sabi breaks that cycle. It teaches you to appreciate what you already have, even if it's a little worn, a little old, or a little imperfect. That scratch on the dining table? A memory, not a flaw. The older car? Reliable, familiar, and fully paid off. The slightly outdated kitchen? A place where your real life happens, not a showroom. When you stop demanding perfection from everything, you naturally stop spending money trying to achieve it. A couple I know learned this the hard way. They spent $30,000 on a kitchen renovation because theirs felt outdated. A few months later, a neighbor renovated their kitchen, and suddenly theirs felt outdated again. Another $15,000 gone. Total spending, $45,000. When they discovered Wabi-Sabi, something shifted. They realized the kitchen worked fine, the wear and tear told stories, and the constant upgrading wasn't improving their happiness at all. If that $45,000 had been invested instead, it could grow to more than $100,000 over 20 years. That's the real cost of chasing perfection. Wabi-Sabi reminds you that what you have is enough. Imperfection is not a problem to fix, it's a part of your life's story. And when you embrace that, spending naturally slows, contentment rises, and quiet wealth begins to build in the background. Habit number 6. Kaizen, the power of tiny daily improvements. Kaizen is one of the most misunderstood habits in personal finance. People hear continuous improvement and imagine dramatic lifestyle changes, strict budgeting, or a total reinvention of who they are. But in Japan, Kaizen has always meant something much simpler and far more sustainable. It's the belief that tiny, almost invisible improvements done consistently can transform your entire life over time. Not overnight, not through force, but through steady momentum. Here's where most people get stuck. They try to change everything at once. Save more, spend less, fix their habits, build new routines. And within a week, they burn out because the plan feels overwhelming. Kaizen does the opposite. It says, start small. So small, you can't fail. Save $1 extra today, cut one subscription this week. Increase your automatic savings by $5 next month. These micro actions seem trivial, but they compound in ways that surprise you. Here's the math. Improving just 1% each day doesn't make you 365% better in a year. Compound growth turns it into more than 3,700%. Small improvements multiplied by time create massive results. And that's the magic of Kaizen. The changes are almost too small to notice at first, but impossible to ignore later. One woman I know couldn't save anything. Every month felt tight, and every attempt at budgeting lasted about 3 days. So she tried Kaizen. She started with a single dollar a day. That's it, $1. Week 1, she saved $7. Month 1, $30. Nothing life-changing. But she kept going. By month 6, she was saving $10 a day. By the end of year 1, she had $2,500 saved. 5 years later, her emergency fund sat at $35,000. All from a habit that began with a single dollar. Kaizen teaches a truth most people overlook. You don't need big changes to build wealth. You need consistent ones. When the steps are small, they're repeatable. When they're repeatable, they compound. And when they compound, your financial life shifts quietly, steadily, permanently. Progress beats perfection. And Kaizen makes progress inevitable. Habit number 5, Gaman. The strength to wait, endure, and choose. Long-term gain. Gaman is one of the most financially powerful habits in Japanese culture. Yet it has nothing to do with budgeting or investing. It's about endurance, patience, the ability to sit with discomfort without immediately trying to escape it. And in a world designed to satisfy every desire instantly, same-day delivery, one-click purchases, buy now, pay later, Gaman is the quiet superpower that separates those who build wealth from those who lose it. Here's the truth most people overlook. Impulsive spending isn't about the purchase. It's about the discomfort underneath it. Stress, boredom, frustration, comparison. These emotions make you want a quick hit of relief, and modern technology gives it to you instantly. But that moment of relief costs you far more than the price tag. It weakens your ability to wait, and waiting is the foundation of every smart financial decision. Gaman flips the script. Instead of acting on the desire immediately, you let the feeling pass. You sit with it. You wait, and something interesting happens. Most impulses fade within minutes if you don't feed them. That's why the 30-day rule works so well. You want something, add it to a list, and wait a month. If the desire survives 30 days, it's probably worth considering. If not, you just saved yourself from an emotional purchase disguised as a need. The Stanford marshmallow experiment proved this decades ago. Kids who could wait for 2 marshmallows instead of eating one right away grew up to be more successful, healthier, and financially stable. The ability to delay gratification literally predicted their future. That's Gaman in action. A woman I know struggled with impulse buying. Nothing extreme, just small daily purchases that added up. Over time, the balance on her credit card hit $15,000. When she started practicing Gaman, she committed to the 30-day rule. In the first month, she wanted 20 different things. 30 days later, she still wanted 2. The other 18. Gone. A year later, her debt was gone too. Gaman teaches you this: discomfort is temporary, but debt is permanent. When you develop the strength to wait, you reclaim your choices, your money, and your future. Delayed gratification isn't about sacrifice, it's about freedom. Habit number 4. Kintsugi, repair. First, replace last. Kintsugi is one of the most visually beautiful concepts in Japanese culture, but beneath the art lies a financial habit with enormous practical value. Traditionally, when a ceramic bowl breaks, it isn't thrown away. It's repaired with gold lacquer, highlighting the cracks instead of hiding them. The message is simple. Something that has been repaired can be more valuable than something brand new, and when you apply that mindset to your finances, everything changes. Here's the problem most households face. We live in a replacement culture. Something breaks, buy a new one. A shirt tears, replace it. An appliance slows down, upgrade. Even when items still work perfectly, marketing convinces us they're outdated. The real cost isn't the item, it's the habit. Replacing instead of repairing drains thousands of dollars every year, often without the person even noticing. Kintsugi offers a different path. Before you replace anything, ask yourself, can this be repaired, restored, or extended? A $15 clothing repair instead of a $60 replacement. A $100 appliance fix instead of a $600 new one. A $50 tune-up for your car instead of jumping into a $40,000 upgrade because the old one feels old. Small decisions like these compound faster than most people think. A man I know learned this lesson when his laptop died. Repair cost, $200. A new laptop, $1,200. He chose the upgrade because it felt easier, and 6 months later, the new one needed a repair anyway. That moment was a wake-up call. He spent the next year choosing repair over replacement whenever possible, patching his jacket, fixing his dryer, restoring his shoes. His total repair cost came to $400. The replacements he avoided would have cost $2,000. He saved $1,600 simply by valuing what he already owned. Kintsugi teaches a quiet truth: new isn't better. Functional is enough. Restoring is valuable. When you stop seeing every flaw as a reason to replace something, you start keeping more of your money and appreciating the history behind what you already have. Repair keeps wealth in your hands. Replacement sends it out the door. Habit number 3. Ikigai. Purpose that reduces stress spending. Ikigai is one of the most misunderstood concepts outside Japan. People often translate it as your passion, but that barely scratches the surface. Ikigai is the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. It's your reason for getting up in the morning. And while that sounds philosophical, the financial impact is enormous, because a purposeful life naturally eliminates one of the biggest drains on your wealth: coping costs. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When someone hates their job, they spend money trying to escape the feeling. Retail therapy, constant takeout, weekend splurges, expensive vacations meant to recover from the week. They're not buying things, they're buying relief. The problem is that relief disappears quickly, but the bill sticks around. Stress spending is one of the most invisible financial leaks in modern life. Ikigai flips that dynamic entirely. When your work aligns with your strengths and values, you don't need to medicate your frustration with purchases. You don't dread Monday, so you don't spend all Sunday trying to distract yourself. You're not fantasizing about escape, so you don't pay for it. Fulfillment lowers your expenses without you even trying. A man I know was earning $80,000 a year in a corporate job he hated. On a paper, he looked successful. In reality, he was exhausted, frustrated, and leaking money everywhere. $500 a month on retail therapy, $300 on stress eating, $5,000 a year on vacations that were more about escape than joy. His lifestyle was a reaction to misery. When he discovered Ikigai, he pursued teaching, something he loved but never considered financially viable. His income dropped to $45,000 the first year. Yet strangely, his bank account grew. His coping expenses disappeared. His stress evaporated. By year 3, he was earning $60,000 doing work he enjoyed and saving more than he ever had at $80,000. Ikigai teaches this simple truth: when you love what you do, you stop paying to escape your own life. Purpose isn't just emotional, it's financial. It replaces stress spending with genuine satisfaction and creates the foundation for quiet, sustainable wealth. Habit number 2. Shoganai. Release what you cannot control. Shoganai is one of the most mentally freeing habits in Japanese philosophy, and financially, it might be the turning point many people never realize they need. The word means it cannot be helped, but not in a passive or hopeless way. It's strategic acceptance, a conscious decision to stop pouring energy into things you can't change and redirect it toward the things you actually can. And when you apply this mindset to money, you immediately break out of the emotional loops that quietly drain your wealth. Most financial stress doesn't come from numbers. It comes from comparison, regret, and fear about the future. You compare your income to someone else's. You replay past mistakes you can't undo. You worry about inflation, markets, the economy, forces you have zero control over. the stress builds. And for many people, stress spending becomes the escape valve. That emotional spiral is expensive. Shoganai interrupts that spiral. Instead of fighting reality, you acknowledge it, you let go, you release the weight, and suddenly the only thing left is what you can control: your habits, your choices, and your discipline today. That small shift changes everything, because progress only happens inside the circle of control, not outside it. A woman I know spent years feeling behind financially. Every time someone her age bought a home, got promoted, or posted a vacation online, she felt it like a punch to the gut. The pressure pushed her into $600 a month of stress spending, little purchases meant to soothe the feeling of being behind. When she adopted Shoganai, she made 2 lists: things she could control and things she couldn't. For the first time, she saw how much energy she was spending on the wrong side of the page. She released the comparisons completely. Within a year, she saved $7,200 without changing jobs or earning more. Shoganai teaches a powerful truth. Peace with your path is free, and it saves you more money than any budget ever could. When you stop wrestling with the uncontrollable, you get your focus back. You get your clarity back. And wealth grows fastest in a mind that's finally calm enough to nurture it. Habit number 1, Ubatore. Grow at your own pace, not someone else's timeline. Ubatore is one of the most important Japanese habits for building quiet wealth because it protects you from the comparison traps that quietly sabotage your finances. The word comes from 4 different blooming trees: plum, cherry, apricot, and peach. Each blooms in its own season, at its own pace, and in its own way. None tries to outshine the others. None feels behind. And that's the core message. Do not compare your path to someone else's. Financially, comparison is one of the most expensive habits you can have. It pushes people to upgrade their car because a coworker upgraded theirs. It convinces families to buy homes they can't afford because friends are buying. It fuels vacations, gadgets, and lifestyle choices that aren't driven by personal desire, but by pressure to keep up. And that pressure becomes debt, stress, and years of lost financial progress. Ubatore breaks that cycle completely. Instead of asking, why am I not where they are, you learn to ask, what pace is right for me? Your background, income, responsibilities, goals, and values are unique, so your timeline should be too. When you embrace this mindset, something amazing happens. Spending drops, clarity rises, and your financial decisions finally match your actual life, not the life you think you're supposed to have. A man I know fell into the comparison trap for years. Every time friends posted a new house, new vacation, or new milestone, he felt behind. That feeling pushed him into lifestyle purchases, small at first, then bigger. By the time he realized what was happening, he had $10,000 in credit card debt and nothing meaningful to show for it. When he discovered Ubatore, he unfollowed the accounts that triggered comparison and refocused entirely on his own path. Within a year, he paid off the debt. Within 3, he built a financial cushion he never thought possible, not by earning more, but by removing the pressure to keep up. Ubatore teaches a simple truth. Your pace is not supposed to match anyone else's. When you stop comparing, you stop overspending, you stop rushing, you stop feeling behind, and wealth, quiet, steady, genuine wealth, finally has space to grow in your own season. Key takeaways. The Quiet Wealth Blueprint. When you look at all 10 habits together, a clear pattern emerges. Quiet wealth isn't built through dramatic moves, high income, or extreme discipline. It's built through awareness, intention, and a mindset that preserves your resources instead of scattering them. Kakeibo helps you see your money. Mottainai helps you keep your money. Hara, Hachi teaches you that enough arrives sooner than you think. Wabi-Sabi shows you the beauty in what you already have. Kaizen proves that tiny improvements compound into massive results. Gaman strengthens your ability to wait. Kintsugi helps you extend the life of what you own. Ikigai reduces the spending that comes from stress. Shoganai frees your mind from the uncontrollable. And Ubatore protects you from the comparison traps that derail your progress. Quiet wealth isn't loud, flashy, or rushed. It's steady. It's intentional. It grows in the background while you live your life with a little more clarity and a lot less pressure. If you start with even one of these habits and just one, you'll feel the shift almost immediately. And once that shift happens, the others become easier. Choose a habit, start small, stay consistent. Your wealth will grow at the same pace these habits teach, quietly, patiently, and undeniably.